Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Guard Your Heart with Tara and Frederick Robinson. Y'all, let me tell y'all, before coming on this show, we are so nervous and in a rush and trying to get everything together because we are busy, right? We just got back from Atlanta. We were at where were we? Summer Chill in Atlanta. So we had a good time with our community. So anyway, we're just going to jump into our first show here with blackdoctor.org. So thanks for having us. So much to talk about. So let's just jump into it. So a little bit about who I am. My name is Tara Robinson. I'm the co-founder of Black Heart Association. I'm also a 3-time heart attack survivor. So that puts me in the space of advocacy. Standing up for our community is what I do, and hoping to save lives along the way. We founded Black Heart Association in 2016, but we'll talk a little more about that later.
Hey guys, I'm Frederick Robinson, the other founder of the Black Heart Association, and I am a survivor of a heart attack. So that's how I ended up in the space. I serve as the Chief Operating Officer here at Black Heart Association, so I deal with everything sort of day to day. I deal more closely with our team members as it relates to community inreach engagement events. I'm the bus maintenance guy. I'm the driver. I do all things heavy lifting.
Okay, he does everything. Because he'll go into a long spiel and it ain't even necessary, y'all. Just know he does a lot and we do appreciate him here at Black Heart. I really don't think I've ever publicly said that, y'all. He does a lot, and I couldn't imagine doing this journey without him. I think I would be lost. So God knew that you would definitely be my person I needed, just like, who did he send for Moses?
Aaron.
He's my Aaron, y'all. Thanks, babe. So let's talk about Cardi B. Let's jump into what Cardi B is about, how it looks when we're in the community with Cardi B. So let's talk about who she is.
Okay. Well, first of all, Cardi B is our mobile unit, short for cardiovascular. It's called Vehicle for Change. And through this mobile unit, we are able to take healthcare to our people, wherever they are, whatever that looks like. We're able to pull up and break down all the barriers that may prevent people from having access to healthcare, having access to all of the things that they need to be healthy and happy individuals. So our mobile unit is out at least 2-3 times a week at different community events. We go anywhere from bike rallies to car shows to family reunions to corporate events.
To corner stores.
Okay, come on, corner store.
You don't like when I say that, but basically wherever our people are, that's where we are going to be. That's where we want to be. So please go to our website and book the bus at www.blackheartassociation.
Correct. All of it's free.
Yep.
You just visit our website, like Tara just said. And if you have an event or you want us to come out and screen on a particular day, if you go to our calendar and that date is available, you simply plug in your information and it locks us in to serve your event or your community on that day. We pull up with our mobile unit, we set up, we bring our team. It's as simple as you filling out a very short intake form. And from there, you'll receive the screenings you want.
But let's remember, we're based in Dallas, baby.
Yeah.
So this is a national platform. So this is for Dallas and surrounding cities.
Correct.
So hopefully we'll be in a city near you soon. So thank you for wrapping that up for us. We appreciate that. Some of the tests that we offer, though, and some of the tests that you can ask your doctor about is make sure you understand your cholesterol panel. So good cholesterol, triglycerides, and bad cholesterol. Make sure you know where your kidney levels are. Make sure you understand your blood pressure. We also do a test called lipoprotein A that you can ask your doctor for. It's currently not covered by insurance, about $150 out of pocket, but it'll tell you your risk of.
It gives you some insight into your predisposition for having a heart attack or a stroke from a genetic standpoint, not necessarily from a lifestyle behavioral standpoint. So that's huge, because if it's something that you can't control, you definitely need to know where you are on that scale, because it makes those things that you can control a little bit more, well, not a little bit, but a lot more important. So it gives you insight into what's happening inside and also how that affects your lifestyle behaviors and choices. So yes, ask your doctor about those. They don't necessarily talk about it because it's not necessarily covered by insurance. but you do have the right to ask for those screenings when you do see your doctor. So please, please be your biggest advocate.
Yes. And make sure you get a calcium scoring, and make sure you also ask your doctor for a high sensitive CRP test. Those are great indicators of where you stand on your heart as it relates to your heart health. Or you can catch us out. We're on a national tour to screen 10,000 people, sponsored by Amgen. And we're looking at your bad cholesterol, and we're looking at your lipoprotein A numbers. And again, all of our services are always free. And wherever we are, pull up on us, okay? We ride out at done. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all, we're going to move on to the impacts of the bus. Let's talk about how impactful Cardi B has been in the community. What's some of your favorite stories?
My favorite story that comes to mind, we had the unique opportunity to travel to my hometown to screen the people there. So a huge majority of those people were my family members. And some of these family members haven't seen a doctor in 20, 30 years. So we had an opportunity to screen my uncle, my dad's youngest brother. And for him to come back and tell us that we saved his life is that's what it's all about. That's where we hang our hat, and that's where our heart is. You know, for him to say the doctor said that he was a walking time bomb, just a ticking time bomb. All of his cholesterol levels were elevated. His lipoprotein A was elevated. He had hypertension, but he didn't know any of these things had he not come onto the bus and received the screenings that we were offering. So that definitely stands out to me, because anytime something hits close to home, it's going to have a larger impact. So I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity, and for him being obedient enough to come onto the bus and get the screening and then follow up with his doctor afterwards. So that's just one of the impacts, and that's the one that kind of jumps out of my mind.
That's a great story. I'm thinking about, because sometimes it's harder for us to reach those who are closest to us. And so for him to do that, kudos to him, and to be able to trust you to take care of him like that. We did have fun at that event too. I have so many impact stories. I think it goes all the way back to one of our first events where we put a student on alert as it relates to his heart health. He was only 14. He was an athlete. And we were at a church screening, and I was at another event talking when the grandmother stood up and said, "It's because of Black Heart Association that my 14-year-old grandson is still here." They had no clue that he had a heart issue. It was the lipoprotein A test that alerted them to think something that was going on. The mom took the initiative to take her son to see a cardiovascular doctor. And the funny thing about this particular lipoprotein A result is it was on the low end of what we see. I think his number was like a 22, which is extremely low. And so because at 50, they say you're at high risk. So for him to have this small risk, and her to say, well, that's still enough to alert me to go into action to make sure my son is safe while playing sports, and to know where his heart health truly is. And so he ended up having to have open heart surgery and some other things going on. So I think stories like him from the very beginning let us know that we were on the path that God has set before us, and that we were doing something right. Y'all, we call disruptors in this space. Can you believe that we're called disruptors? I didn't even know we were called disruptors. See, he doesn't know nothing, but I know everything. So yes, we're called disruptors in this space. And when I heard that word for the first time just about a month ago, I was like, wow, I guess we really are being disruptive, because the norm is talk to people just talk to people or get to the doctor. But nobody dares step foot in the communities or the places that we are willing to go. I mean, we've been at weed events. Did you ever think we was going to be at a weed event? Y'all, we be at weed events. Okay. We out here. We was at Broccoli Fest, popping and locking, and all of that, shaking the tail feather. We have, it's really been a great experience to be out here amongst our community. And I think that alone is an impact story.
It's definitely a blessing. I was talking with a gentleman at an event, and we were talking about how, we have these hangups a lot of times as it relates to engaging with the healthcare system. But if we can bring the healthcare system to these people in an environment where they feel comfortable, where they feel safe, they don't feel judged, they don't feel like they don't belong. And that's the huge impact that we have. We can pull up wherever they are and address the need right there where they are without changing the atmosphere. So they're a lot more transparent, a lot more receptive. And that's what we want. At the end of the day, it's about saving lives. It's about driving people to care. And
I was just gonna say, these people are our people. Like, these communities are where we eat, live.
Yeah, that's huge too.
Drink, go to church.
You drink?
I don't drink, but you know what I'm saying. You know, I'll drink some water, some Coke. You know, that's another story.
I think that's why they say we're so disruptive. And if you think, when I hear the word disruptive coming up, you know, that was a negative term. Oh, you're disruptive. You know, you're bad. But being sometimes disruptive is the only way that you can get change to happen. So now that I know we're called disruptors, I wear it as a badge of honor, because if this thing is going to turn around, then it's going to take some disruptive behavior, and we're built for it, and we're here for it. So
built, Black Heart, tough. Okay. I don't know where that came from. It just dropped in my spirit. But I think one more impact story that I really enjoy watching you participate in. When we went to Derrida, and this young lady had lost her husband at the high school that he coached at the high school that he went to as a student. And her kids were over in the gym next door. He was young. So she invited Black Heart to come and screen her community. We didn't know what to expect when we got there, because I carry every story so heavily on my heart. So when we pulled up, he just goes and walks in the house, y'all, like he'd been living there. And I'm like, what is happening? So he just goes in there. It's a fish fry going on, and I'm still in the truck. So I'm like, is it okay for us to just go in? Baby, he didn't went in and already met the people. Talk about it.
Well, first of all, Derrida, Louisiana is a lot like my hometown, Bastrop, Louisiana. So I already knew kind of what to expect. And I had been having conversations with the wife. So we had already built a relationship. But again, Louisiana, we just different like that. Everybody's family, everybody's baby, everybody is, you know. So I knew going in that this was a welcoming environment. Hey, you want to sit in the truck? I'm going to go in and get some of this fish, some of these spaghettis. I'm gonna meet the kids. I'm gonna hang out with the granny. And, you know, it's family, it's love. And that's what Black Heart is. We're family. You know, we want everybody to understand that they matter, that they are loved, and that there are people who want them here and want them well. So anytime we can go into an environment like that, I'm going in and fix a plate. So,
and he definitely went in and fixed the plate. I went in and met the daughter, the two sons. These are young kids who have lost their dad. This is a community who was really suffering the loss of this coach. He was such a great community member, and just to see the kids smile, and the daughter point out the pictures of her dad on the wall, and just to engage with his two sons. It was a lot. It was a lot. And his wife.
Yeah, and what it tells us is that we have to understand that heart disease, heart attack, strokes, these things don't just impact that individual.
Yeah.
Like, we're all connected to people. We all have our own little ecosystem that we're a part of. And when something disrupts that, it's hard. And it takes a lot of work to try to get that back to balance. And that's what we're trying to make sure that we can, like she mentioned, 80% of this stuff is preventable. And we want to make sure that people understand that, and people have the information and the tools to prevent these things, because it's a lot. It's a lot to see those kids hurting the way they were hurting, to see those high school students that this young man had impacted so far beyond athletics, and to have that life-altering situation just kind of shake all of that up. That's a lot to deal with. And we want to make sure that we're trying everything in our power to prevent those things from happening.
And the beauty of it was a very diverse community.
Oh, yeah.
And when it comes to Black Heart, what people should know is about the name, how the name came to be. We were Rock Your Heart in 2016, and it kind of fell flat. And it's okay. It means to get up and get moving, dang. But it kind of fell flat. But I went back to God in prayer, and I was like, I know you gave this to me, or I wouldn't have. I lost my life for this. To a rebirth, right? Yep. And so I put it down. That answer came to us in 2019. We lost Stephen. He was my brother-in-law. We've known him since he was 17.
He was my brother-in-law too. You do know
that. Oh, well, he was our brother-in-law, and we lost him. What year was this?
That was
2019.
2019. March 9th.
Yeah, I was on my way to speak about heart disease, and got the call to get to the hospital, get there, and everybody's crying, and I'm lost. And this is what happened. Stephen lost his life in front of my niece and nephew. He was 38 at the time from a hypertensive heart attack, a high blood pressure heart attack. His kids, his son was a freshman in high school and his daughter a senior in high school, and he had a daughter in Houston, graduated from college in a couple of months. And so I was responsible for taking Stephen's black suit to the funeral home. And I remember looking at that black suit and saying, this is it. This is, this is the end of his road, unfortunately. And being so mad at God, I was angry. I was pissed, but God can handle our anger, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was mad, and because God literally gave me, I felt like a front row seat to my own funeral. And so Black stands for two things. That one, it cannot continue to be the number one killer of our community on our watch.
Correct.
And then two, we don't care what race you are. No one should be caught off guard by this thing. When a screening can help out or something can help out, no matter what race you are. No one should have to die from heart disease, something that can be prevented. So that's how Black Heart. And we want to be as big as the other association that's out there. So that's kind of how our name came to be. Yeah. So, and we've been on the road ever since.
I was about to say, I definitely think it was a God ordained name change, because it seems like the minute we changed the name, we have been 100 miles and running. The impact has just unfolded like you never could imagine. So, there's no doubt in my mind that we are who we are, where this thing is called exactly what it's supposed to be called, because the impact speaks for itself. The connections that we've made, the sponsorships that we've been able to secure, the partnerships that we've been able to develop.
But most importantly,
and the people that we've been able to impact. But all of those things, once the name changed, God just started to lay it out.
And we don't talk about God will smash the gas. And right now he has his foot on the pedal. We was not ready for this show, y'all. We were like, oh Lord, what are we going to talk about? Lord, we ain't had time to prepare, but sometimes that's the best moments, in those let them unprepared moments, to just show up. Yeah. Just show up.
Yeah.
Right? Show up for yourself.
Yeah. Because when you're unprepared, he's prepared.
Ooh,
he's like, I don't want you to be prepared, because I need you to lean on me and let me do this thing. So I think that's this organization in a nutshell, to be honest with you. And we're excited about it.
We're excited about it. Y'all see these papers? This is our trying to keep us on task, and I'm sure
that's her notes. I got mine.
I'm sure that we're off. I'm not quite sure. But next, we're supposed to talk about educational. It says Frederick on common health issues. What are you seeing on the bus? What are you seeing like some of the most pressing issues that we see on the bus day in and day out?
I think the most common immediate issue that we're able to recognize, and mainly because it gives us that reading right there. We see a lot of people with elevated blood pressure numbers. And I think there's some lifestyle behaviors and those things that can kind of contribute to that. But I think the biggest thing that contributes to that we don't really talk a lot about is just that constant stress that people are under from just day-to-day living. People are always in this fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about that enough, in my opinion, because like we always say, everything flows through the heart, whether that's good, whether that's bad, whether that's ugly. And I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of ugly that's flowing through, whether that be from childhood that just was never addressed and became young adult trauma, which led to older adult trauma. It's this never ending road of a lack of recovery. Yeah, if I can say it like that, because if you think about the word "re" or the prefix "re," it means again.
Yeah.
If you think about covering, it means to protect, to shield against. So we're just out here uncovered. So there's stuff just beating on us. If there's never an opportunity for us to recover, so that we can regroup and refocus and regenerate, rejuvenate from all of these things, and we're always going to be at this heightened level of hypertension, so to speak, because
the word speaks for itself.
The word speaks, it's
hyper and I'm tense. And I'm tense. So the word speaks for itself. We always hear about blood pressure, and I think it's such a common term in our community. And I think the conversation definitely needs to go into chronic stress, like you just said. For me, I don't have hypertension, but I did have chronic stress. All those things that you mentioned, and then if we could just even talk about, go all the way back to slavery. Some of these things are transferred from generation to generation, and knowing how to break that And one of the ways we break that is by rest and digest, resetting ourselves to first admit that I am stressed the heck out. And these are some of the things that trigger me. Like, I know if I see, we go back to George Floyd and the things that we might see that just really, as mothers, as parents, that really just be like, oh my God, when will this ever stop? So we have our controllables and our uncontrollables. And your controllables are where you need to focus. We can't control.
Right. It is what it is. There are always going to be some things outside of our control, which means the things that I know that I have control over, not just my eating, but my interaction with people, my interaction with myself. How do I love myself? How do I show up for me? And there's a saying that those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. So, we're such a loving people. We do a lot of times put ourselves to the back for the sake of others.
Let's talk about it. Let's put a pin there. We've been taught that, though. And pin right there. We've been taught that. And and I love the Lord. He heard my prayer. I love him. But let me say this. We have been taught that to kind of skip over our love thyself is to love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor as I love thyself.
Yeah, that. But we skip right over to the neighbor part and we forget about the ourselves part. And that part comes first. And that's not to say not to help take care of others, but
correct.
The moment you realize that you matter in this puzzle, that's when you have to plug in. Even if we're married, I still have to plug myself into my day separate from him. And he has to do the same. So taking the time to guard your heart, the word itself means protection, to take action. So you have to do that. So making sure that we break that understanding of you go right to thy neighbor before taking care of yourself. The saying you can't pour from an empty cup. That's what we've been doing. Came through with it, y'all.
I can only be the best person for you if I'm the best person for me first. And that's,
And out of a 24-hour day, the person that whatever's controlling your time, it controls your experiences and your growth. We have to make sure what is controlling my time. If I can't include myself in a 24-hour day to take time to breathe, intentionally breathe, to sit with myself, to read a book, to go grounding, to do some yoga, to exercise, to eat properly. If I can't take the time out to do that in a 24-hour day, then you have skipped over to the thyself part and just totally left yourself out of this equation. And that's when hypertension comes in, obesity, depression, anxiety, all these things, because we're not being intentional about our time and ourselves.
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I got to put me first. By putting me first, I'm also putting you first because I'm going to be the best version of me to show up for you. And that's what love is.
And that's what love is.
Yeah.
And I think learning to love yourself is a part of what you just said. Like, we don't know how to do that. We don't learn, like I posted a while back, like we don't even teach our kids peace and what that means. I don't even know what age I learned peace. And what it means to be at peace. And not constantly in this rat race of trying to be better or trying to be all these things, but not standing still and really figuring out what God has called us to be and learning what our purpose is. It's peace and purpose. And so we have to teach our children peace at a young age, teach them how to intentionally breathe, how to take a moment to pause and be by themselves. We all, it's this constant go, 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 go.
Yeah, I definitely believe there's power and peace in purpose. But that's a whole nother. That's another show
for another day. We're gonna bring on all types of people to join us, from mental health professionals to doctors to community members to people that have been on the bus, all kinds of people, financial people. I want to just talk about it all because all of it
is about guarding your heart. It's not just about the physical aspect of your heart. When we talk about guarding your heart, we're talking about guarding your heart from or protecting your heart from anything that could allow those negative emotions and negative experiences to flow through your engine, so to speak. So
I wonder if anybody has any questions. I don't know. AJ, does anybody have any questions? Is it Asia? It's not
Asia.
Asia, I'm sorry, Asia. Does anybody have any questions for us? What does it mean when your LDL is high? That's a great question. You want to jump in it or?
Sure. So LDL is the bad guy, the cholesterol, the fat in the bloodstream that people associate with, heart disease or heart health issues, clogging up the arteries. So basically, and we all have it.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of how much do we have and how much is.
Huh.
If you think about your vessels and blood flowing through, the larger the hole, the smoother the flow. The tighter the hole, the more restricted it is for the blood flow to happen, which means now that pump, the heart has to work harder to push that through. So the lower that number, the smoother the flow, if I can put it in simple terms.
And right now, research is showing that if you are a heart attack survivor and you lower your bad cholesterol, it needs to be under 55. That's pretty low.
Yeah.
If you haven't had a heart attack, it should be under 100. But I like to tell people, like, if doctors are telling me as a heart attack survivor that I need to be under 70, that should also be your goal, to get your bad cholesterol down as low as possible. Now, in some people, it can be
like a genetic thing,
or a family, hyperfamilial.
Yeah. So if you know that you're doing everything in your power to keep those numbers down, like your lifestyle choices, and you're still, for whatever reason, are elevated, I would definitely recommend, talking with your primary care physician or a doctor about it, to see if, you may just be one of those people who need a little bit of help, and that's okay. As long as you know in your heart that you're doing everything in your power to take care of yourself. And, there's nothing wrong with needing some help, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say,
have it both ways.
You can't say, well, I don't like medication, but you're not willing to make lifestyle changes that will prevent you from needing the medication.
Said with love, of course. But guys, we got to keep it real. We got to keep it 100.
Everything is hard. You just got to choose your heart. Yeah. Just got to choose your heart.
Everything. I don't really think like what healthy foods are recommended for AFib. I really feel like it's just what healthy foods are out there.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and I'll let you talk more about that, but I suggest everybody get the app called Yuka. I'm not trying to promote anything, but we use it a lot in our household.
And there's several different apps.
And it's several different apps, but this is the one we use, YUKA. And it's hilarious to us. It's
very disheartening.
It really is, y'all, because we go in and we scan the back of the item, and it tells us if it's good, bad, poor, zero, and it tells us what ingredients in it that will harm us. But I would say staying on your plant side is the best option for all of us. More plants, more fruit, less
animal products.
So less animal products. And I know that hurts our heart, but it is what it is.
We have a doctor who oversees our organization, and he's out in the community with us a lot. And when people ask these questions, he doesn't pull punches. He simply tells them, the more things you can eat that have stems and seeds, and the less things you can eat that have parents, the better off you're going to be. So, make sure that the majority of your diet is plant-based. And we're not saying, because nobody can really live on either end of any extreme. So we do understand that it's more difficult for others. But if you really want to take care of yourself, again, everything is hard. You just got to choose your heart. So, as little meat as possible, as much fruits and veggies as you can get. Mom and them was telling us this a long time ago. Now that we're older, it just makes more sense.
Eat your vegetables.
Yeah, eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. And I was one of them kids that hated vegetables. But now I have no choice. I got to protect my heart health. I got to make sure my weight and not necessarily my weight. We've been focusing more on subcutaneous fat and visceral fat, and we'll get into all of that later.
Yeah,
but that's some things that we can talk about. But just making sure that your plate is green is important. It's so important. That's for any of us. If you want to decrease your heart risk, for those of us that are not genetically at risk, make sure you're eating your plants, like you just said, and your fruit, and you're moving, and you're taking care of your stress.
Well, they asked about food.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going too far. Thank you for pulling me back. Any other questions before we wrap up? I'm 51. I'm 51. Don't you say it. I'm 51. Thank you for sharing. First of all, thank you for sharing your story with us. It is incredibly heartbreaking for us to hear any of these stories. God bless you and your family, your community. And if I don't know, I don't even, there's no right words in these situations. Is that I wish, or other than we always wish that we could have screened your husband or said something or did something. That's always our wish and hope when we hear of a death lost to heart disease. We definitely want to talk about this with younger people now. So by the time they are our age, it's a whole different trajectory, as the numbers are. It's projected in 2030 that the numbers will quadruple in our community, and we're not having that at Black Heart Association. We have saving one individual saves a family, saves a community. And so our heart grieves with you anytime we lose a member of our community. And so make sure that you're asking for those tests that we mentioned earlier. Make sure that you're eating properly, you're moving, you're taking care of you're guarding your heart.
Yeah.
And we'll see them next time.
Last words, babe. Yeah. He who has health has hope. And he who has hope has everything. So our goal and our prayer and our hope is that everyone will take their health wherever it is on your priority list. If it's not number one, reconfigure your list and make sure that your health is at the top of your list, because that's where the hope is. And anytime a man has hope, all the other stuff will find him.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to make sure that people understand. It's really hard to live out your purpose, to walk out your purpose, to fulfill your assignment if you're not in a healthy state. So please, please, please take care of your heart, guard your relationships, guard your choices, guard your life. It's the most precious gift that we'll ever get. So let's make sure that we are honoring God. We are showing him that we're grateful by taking care of the thing that he has blessed us with, and everything else will be added unto us.
Yeah. So be here healthy, be here well. Follow us on all social media at Black Heart
Association. If you want to know where we're going to be next on our national tour, you can visit guardyourhearttour.org and catch us out in the community. If you're here locally and you want to know where we're going to be so you can pop up on us, just visit our website, blackheartassociation.org.
And our next event is in DC. We'll be at the Congressional Black Caucus. Come by and get your screening for free. We'll be there from the 11th through the 13th, and it's available to all of our community members. So we hope to see you somewhere on the tour. Guard your heart in the meantime. Take care.
Take care.